recording. This is also, no, this is not recording. Okay. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannotibhisri Dasadanam Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Om Vrishabham Charshaninam Vishwarupamadabhyam Brihaspatim Varenyam Om Tadvishno Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Om Shlim Dhim Jyotirbrahmaya Namaha. And everybody repeat Hare Ramakrishna 3 times. Om Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna. Okay, we will finish the last 4 verses in chapter 24 of Santanam version, page 235. We finished the results of all the 12 house lords being in the 12 houses, and then there are some generic guidelines at the end basically. So we'll see those in today's class. Itite kathitam vipra bhave shanam chayat phalam. This is verse 145. After finishing 12 times 12, 144 verses. Itite kathitam vipra bhave shanam chayat phalam bala bala vivekena sarvesham tat samadishet द्विराशीशस्य खेटस्य विदित्वो भयथा फलम् विरोधे तुल्यफलयोर्द्वयोर्नाशः प्रजायते विभिन्नयोस्तु फलयोर्द्वयोः प्राप्तिर्भवेद्ध्रुवम् ग्रहे पूर्णबले पूर्णमर्धबले फलम् पादम् हीनबले खेटे ज्ञेयमित्थम् बुधैरिति Uktam bhavasthitanam te bhaveshanam phalam maya. These are the 4 verses. So he is giving some generic guidelines at the end. So what he is saying is, Itite kathitam vipra. Oh, vipra means, oh Brahmin. So I have explained everything to you. The results of the 12 house lords being in the 12 houses. Bhaveshanam cha yat phalam. Bhaveshanam means the house lords. Yat phalam. Whatever result is there for the lords of the houses, I have explained to you everything. Bala bala vivekena. Bala bala abala. Bala means strength, abala means weakness. Viveka means judgment. By judging, by judiciously estimating the strength and weakness, sarvesham tatsamadishet. By judging the strength and weakness, you have to sarvesham, of all house lords, of all houses, that means the results. Samadishet means, adishet means you can decide. Some adishet means you can decide well, basically. So in order to decide well, you have to consider the strengths and weaknesses of the house lords, basically, and the houses also. So basically he is saying, he gave good results, bad results, all kinds of results earlier. Now he is saying also look at the strength. If a planet is strong, if let's say 11th Lord is strong, 11th Lord's agenda, he will fulfill it stronger. So we kept saying that the house owned is your agenda and the house you are placed in is what you have at your disposal. But the thing is, if somebody is very strong, he can work for his agenda stronger. Whereas if somebody is weak, he will give up easily. So the thing is, the strength and weakness of the planet also matters apart from where he is. In the same house lord can give different results based on whether he is strong, whether he is in a friendly house, whether he is in a super friendly house, or whether he is in a inimical house, or whether he is exalted, whether he is combushed, whether he is defeated in a planetary war. So all these things have to be considered. You can't basically use thumb rules without judging the strengths of the planets. Divirasishasya khetasya if a planet owns two houses, for a planet owning two houses, in the case of a planet owning two houses, viditva ubhayatha phalam. Viditva means having known, ubhayatha means both the ways, phalam. Get the result both the ways basically. Virodhe tulya phalayoho dvayor nasah prajayate. Virodhe tulya phalayoho. If there are equal results which are opposite of each other, then both will be destroyed, both will be cancelled, both will annul each other. In other words, what he is saying is, we kept talking about this kind of things earlier. Let's say a planet owns a trine and let's say a bad house, 5th and 6th house. Let's say Virgo is the Lagna, Saturn owns the 5th house and 6th house. And let's say Saturn is in a Dusthana, then you will say there is a Viparita Rajoga. So as far as Saturn being the 6th Lord is concerned, his being in a Dusthana is good. But Saturn being the 5th Lord, his being in a Dusthana may be bad. So things like this we have encountered earlier, right? So if a planet owns two houses, but he is placed in only one house. So the placement may be good with respect to one house, but bad with respect to the other house. So there may be, one house may say, the result of one house may say he will be happy. The other house may say he will be sad. He will be unlucky. One may be lucky, other may be lot of obstacles. So he is saying, if they are equal, tulya means balanced. If there are virodha means opposite. So if the results are opposing each other and balanced, well balanced, then they will cancel each other. So he is actually saying, the result of one house is not really in vacuum basically. The results of various houses, if there are different indications, one saying he will be fortunate, another saying he will be unfortunate, or one saying he is dharmic, another saying he is adharmic. You basically look at all the influences and judge the magnitude of the influence and then cancel them if there are opposite indications. Vibhinnayostu phalayoh dvayoh praptir bhaved dhruvam. And he is also saying, if the results are vibhinnayoh, if they are not balanced, if they are basically of different grades, different magnitudes, then he is saying dvayoh praptir bhaved dhruvam. Then definitely both will be obtained. So if there is an indication that he will be dharmic, but it is a very strong indication, and also there is an indication that he will be adharmic, let's say, but a weak indication, then there will be sometimes when he may be adharmic, but mostly he is dharmic. So both the results will be given, things like that. So also same for fortune, same for many other things. So he is saying, if the results are, if there are opposing, of course if the results are compatible, there is no problem. But if there are incompatible results indicated by the same planet, of course by extrapolation you can say this is not necessarily for the same planet. If there are different indications in the chart, different planetary combinations in the chart, one showing one result, the other showing the opposite of it, then basically this will apply. This is not necessarily, even though he is giving it in the context of Dvirasisya Khetasya, a planet owning two signs, you can basically argue that this is applicable in general, even if you are not talking about the same planet. For example, second lord may be very weak, but 11th lord may be strong. So one may be showing a lot of profits, the other may be showing losses. Similarly, 12th lord and 11th lord both may be strong, and the placement of both the lords may be showing both profits and gains, things like that. So when there are contradictory influences coming in based on all the analysis, if they are balanced, then they will cancel each other. If they are not balanced and there are opposing results, he is saying both will be given.
Can be applied to dual ownership of the house?
Yes, you can. You can apply to dual ownership also, even though he did not mention, right?
And their Ardas as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. So he is saying both the results will be given. Grahe purna bale purnam ardham ardhabale phalam. If the planet is fully strong, purna bala means full strength. If the planet is fully strong, the result will be purnam, full result that you would have expected based on your analysis. Ardham ardhabale phalam. If the planet is half strong, means not really fully strong, but only marginally strong, then the result will also be half result. So let's say second lord is in the 9th house or something like that, and you said, oh, he will be very fortunate, he will have crores of, or he will be a millionaire. The thing is, if the planet is weak, maybe he is not a millionaire, maybe he has good bank balance but not really a millionaire. Whereas if the planet is fully strong, he's exalted, he's in a friendly house and whatnot, and not affected by any enemies, then maybe the result is full and he is probably really a millionaire. So he's saying if the planet is strong, result is strong. If the planet is half strong, result is only half result. You don't expect the full result.
He's not talking about the
He hasn't clarified what strength he is talking about. Is he talking about Vimshopakabala or is he talking about Shadbala? He hasn't talked about Shadbala until now. He will talk about Shadbala a little later. Actually, very soon. After this, Upagrahas, and then I think he's going into Grahabalas, Shadbalas. So he hasn't clarified what strengths he is talking about. But previously, when he talked about strength and weakness, he basically looked at exaltation, bone sign, friendly sign, Adhimitra sign. All these things are strengths. And he considered being in an inimical sign or Adhishatru sign, basically bad enemy sign. And also being defeated in a war, planetary war, basically being in the same degree as another planet and being at a lower degree. So being defeated in a planetary war, being combust, being debilitated, all these things were considered to be weaknesses by Parasara earlier in the previous chapters. So because he hasn't clarified, we'll assume that that's what he's talking about.
And one more unrelated question, sir. When you're looking at Shadbala of a planet, or suppose in the future, will he not be considering these factors as parameters in determining?
These also are factors, yes.
So could it be said that that would ultimately decide on the...
You could say that, but the thing is you have to experiment. The thing is, for one thing, Shadbalas are just, they're an automated method basically, which combine the Kalabala, Digbala, this, that, everything basically into one number. But the thing is, depending on the context, depending on what context you are using the strength, certain things are more important. If you are talking about which direction the planet gives in life, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, etc., Digbala is, for example, more important. It is the direction in life. Whereas, if you are talking about somebody like Moon basically, he waxes and wanes. So for him, Kalbala is most important. Compared to any other Bala, even compared to where he is, for him, how full he is more important. That decides his strength. So that even changes whether he is a benefic or malefic. So that has a fundamental effect on him. So for some planets, Kalbala is more important. For some planets, where they are is more important. For example, if you take a Kshatriya, for a Kshatriya, whether this is what kind of time is going on doesn't matter. Where he is he in his own pavilion or is he in an inimical house? That may matter. So like this, for different planets, different strengths may be more applicable. So I think Shadbala is just a robotic kind of mechanism. So it may or may not be applicable in all contexts. But for those who don't want to judge anything, if you just want a number to basically go by, Shadbala is a good method. The next one is, okay, Padam Hena Bale Khete. If the planet is very weak, then Padam means 1/4. So he said if he is fully strong, full result, 100%. If he is half strong, basically medium strength, not really, neither very very strong nor very weak, basically medium strength. Then Ardham, he said, half results. If he is Henabale, means he has terrible strength, that means he is weak. He is actually not strong, he is weak. In that case, only quarter results will be given. I mean, of course, you have to take this with a pinch of salt, quarter, half and medium and full. Basically, what he means is, some partial results will be given. He will not give the full promised results. That's the bottom line. Khete means if the planet. So this applies to all the lines. Khete, Hinabale, Padam. If the planet is weak, then quarter results. Greyamitham Budhairiti. Like this, it should be learned by the learned people. It should be understood by the learned people. Uktam bhavasthitanam te bhaveshanam phalam maya. Uktam bhavasthitanam te bhaveshanam phalam. So like this, it was mentioned by me the results of various house lords, bhaveshanam, house lords, bhavasthitanam, being in various houses. So results of house lords in houses, like this was explained by me. So this is what this is what Parasara said about various houses, the results of various houses, how house lords being in various houses. So with this we will end Parasara today. So we'll go to the, today this was very quick, we'll go to the practicals. And we have to decide what we will do next class from Parasara. We'll probably do the Upagrahas or whatever, we'll decide. We'll see. I'll look at the remaining things. I'll restart the recording. Have you decided which chart to look at? Okay, so we are seeing a chart 1992 July 8, 9:56:23 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT, Secunderabad, India, 78 degrees 30 minutes east, 17 degrees 27 minutes north. Okay, so Lagna is 13 degree 45 minutes Aquarius and Moon is at 12 degree 40 minutes Libra. Okay, so we'll see the chart. So what do we want to see?
I want to see his education into college.
Okay, so we want to see how his education will be, and education is from Chaturvimshamsa. So we'll use Rasi as well as Chaturvimshamsa. We'll put here.
E mode you can get all three alternating, is it?
Yeah. Right. All three, or if you have a big display, actually that's not allowed here. No, tap chart mode. This is a small display. If you have a big display, if you have more pixels, I think 1280 minimum horizontally, then basically you can get 12 charts. So you can have six of each basically. And in the main display you can have 6 charts, so 3 each. So that will be convenient. Let's see Rasi, Dashamsa and Siddhamsa.
Rasi, Dashamsa,
Siddhamsa, right. Okay, so first let us see Rasi. How is education in general? How is education in general? How is the fourth lord? Yeah, you can sit wherever you feel comfortable. Okay, good. So, who is the fourth lord and is he strong or weak? Basically, let's go by fundamentals to see the education fourth lord. And before we go to the divisional chart, let's see how strong he is in the Rasi chart. Who is the fourth lord? Fourth house is in Taurus. So, Venus is the fourth lord. Is he strong or weak? He is in the Sun and Ketu. He is in the fifth house. So, fourth lord, he is a Yogaraka. And fourth lord in the fifth house, is it good or bad? It is very good. So, Venus is very good. And he is in Vargottama, right? He is in Punarvasu. He is in Punarvasu third padam. He is in Vargottama. So, he is strong. But is there any weakness to him?
But he is in Rahu Ketu axis.
Yeah, he is on Rahu Ketu axis. But what is your problem with Rahu and Ketu? Yes, that is the problem. Rahu Ketu is not really a problem. They are friends, right? Venus is the fourth and ninth lord. Ketu is the 10th lord. So, Kendra lord and Kona lord. Similarly, Rahu is the Lagna lord. So, Lagna lord and fourth lord or Lagna lord and ninth lord aspecting each other is not a problem. Rahu Ketu are not problem here in this particular case. They are okay. But they are actually away. They are at 6 degrees. Whereas Venus is at 29 degrees. 29 degrees and 6 degrees are basically like the opposite ends of the sign. The influence of Ketu on Venus is very weak. So that's unfortunately, that's not the problem. That is actually opposite of the problem. That there has been a savior and that is weak. That influence. It is Sun, like he said, like Satish said. Sun is the problem. Why? Even though he is the 7th lord and 4th lord, 7th lord, 9th lord, all that is there, they are enemies. He basically makes Venus combust. When Sun and Venus are together, it is like a dancing girl basically being in front of the king. So Venus is not, any planet when their combust is weak according to Parasara, particularly Venus, because he is an enemy of Sun. Actually, rather than saying dancing girl and king, let me give the analogy of Rama and Parshurama. Venus is basically Parshurama and Sun is Rama. So when they are together, it's basically like Parshurama being with Rama and losing his luster. So from that point of view, and the distance is not really that much. How much is it? 7 degrees, a little less than 7 degrees. So it is actually quite close. 7 degrees should be considered to be close. So Venus is in trouble.
Shukra is also the 9th lord.
Yeah, Shukra is also the 9th lord. 9th lord.
And higher education.
Yeah. So for in general, for fortune and for education, there is some problem with Venus. So Venus needs to be strengthened. That is one thing. Now let us go to the D24. In D24, and how is Mercury, by the way? Okay, he's fine. If you go to D24, what is the Lagna here? Cancer. And because we rectified it earlier, I will not rectify it again. I will basically assume that this is right, because this is on the border, this is on the cusp. So we will assume that this is accurate. So, excuse me. So how is Venus here? Because he is the Karyasa.
He cannot be
D24. So because Venus is the Karyasa, his strength in the Siddhamsa is important. Is he strong or weak? What is your take?
He is very strong.
First of all, he is well placed. He is in a quadrant and trine. He is in Lagna. So placement wise, he is basically well placed. But he is in a friendly house or an inimical house? He is in a neutral house. He is in Moon's house, and for Venus, Moon is a neutral planet in this chart, based on compound relationship. He is normally an enemy. For Venus, Moon is an enemy. But here, because he is next to, in the sign next to him, he is a temporary friend. So compound relationship is neutral. So he is in a Samarashi. He is not in a friendly sign or an inimical sign. But Cancer is a very fruitful sign. Cancer is in general a very sattvic sign. It's a fruitful sign. And you can say that Venus is reasonably strong there. He's not very weak. And is he afflicted by anybody? Is anybody aspecting him? Who's aspecting Venus here? By Grahadrushti. Saturn is having Grahadrushti on him. Mercury has aspect, but there's only 1/4 aspect. We can ignore it. Right? Mercury's 10th house aspect is only 1/4. And Rahu has 3/4 aspect. Yeah, 8 aspect is 3/4 for all planets. So Rahu has a 3/4 aspect on Venus. So there is an aspect of Rahu and there is an aspect of Saturn. Now, what does it indicate? Saturn is the 7th lord as well as the 8th lord. And Venus is the 4th lord in this chart. Apart from being Karyasya, he is also 4th lord in this chart. So on him, Saturn's influence, 7th lord's influence is fine. Basically that shows Rahu is the other 8th lord. So both the 8th lords have an aspect. So bottom line is Venus is afflicted by 8th lord aspect. The 4th lord in Lagna is afflicted by 8th lord aspect. So there is some problem.
Lagna Lord being in the 12th house and the second.
And moreover, Lagna Lord, like he said, Moon is in the 12th house. So is that a good placement? In general, Lagna has to be strong for education to be strong. So Lagna Lord, Moon being in the 12th house, is it good? Does it indicate good education? It is not that good unless the education is in a foreign country. He already left his motherland, right? Okay, so from that point of view, he is basically already being educated in a foreign land. So that 12th house will basically, you can say that justifies that basically explains the fact that he is in a foreign country. So
Second house of resources, Lord 8th house or not, sir?
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that?
Okay, second lord Sun is in 8th house. What does that indicate? What do you say? It is a Marga combination. Yeah, Sun periods, there can be some tests basically.
Marka because
Second lord in the 8th house, in an inimical sign. If the second lord is in an inimical sign or if he is in the 7th or 8th house, it is not really auspicious. But it is very good for occult studies. Second lord in the 8th is very good for astrology knowledge. And also both the planets are fiery planets there. So there is a chance that he will be, he will learn astrology. There is a chance.
Is it that Dasha is still yet to come?
We don't know. We have to see the Dashas. What Dasha is he running? Do you remember, Seshu? You probably don't, right?
I don't.
Very good. We'll check. So Dasha, we'll just take the Vimshottari Dasha, right? Is there anything else? Nothing else. Is the Lagna Vargottama something? Not really. Shatabhisha third pada. Shatabhisha third pada means Shatabdika will be applicable, right? Shatabdika is applicable. Shatabhisha third pada means yeah, Vargottama. So Shatabdika Dasha is applicable. Shall we see Shatabdika Dasha or Vimshottari?
I think last time we saw once Vimshottari.
Okay, we'll just stick to Vimshottari. Shatabdika also will show things. If you combine them, you can get better clarity. But let's just look at Vimshottari. The Dasha running right now is Jupiter Dasha. It's a long haul. It will go on till 2018, a long time basically. By the time he will be 26 years of age, probably education done, or important part of education done, the fundamental part, bachelor's, master's. So we have to focus on Jupiter and see how he is for education. In the Rashi chart, he is the 2nd and 11th lord, he is a male freak, he is aspecting Lagna. Which house is he in? In the Rashi chart, Jupiter is in the 7th house. He is in a quadrant. Jupiter in a quadrant, is it good or bad? It's fine. And from the point of view of education,
Friendly house.
for me,
Also in a friendly house.
he's in a friendly house.
The second lord and 11th lord in 7th house, sir.
Yeah.
The second lord, education చూస్తుంటే second to 11th lord is not a good planet.
Yeah.
In general.
Right.
He's also in 7th. అంటే business education కి చూస్తాడేమో అని.
Yeah. Right. But the thing is, let us see from education. Who's the Karaka for education? We have been seeing the 4th lord only. See the Karaka also. We always say Karaka is important, right? Who's the Karaka for learning, education? Mercury, right? So if you take Mercury as Lagna, how is Jupiter placed? From Mercury Lagna, from Bodha Lagna, how is Jupiter placed?
6th and 9th lord in 2nd house.
He is the 6th and 9th lord. He is a mixed planet, neutral planet. Which house is he in? He is in the 2nd house. But the thing is, if you take, I'll go back to my mail in Sohamsa. Basically, I said houses from planets are reckoned, the planet being the start of the house. Basically, the longitude of the planet is the start of the first house. It's not the middle of the first house. And houses are not entire science. If we basically go by that principle, right? Because that is how Parasura defined houses when he defined planetary aspects. There he clearly said Mars will aspect the 4th house from him, and then he said 4th house is basically from 90 degrees to 120 degrees. So if you basically go by that, Mercury is at 18 degree 51 minute in Cancer. So from there till 19 degrees in Leo, 18 degrees 51 minutes is actually first house.
He is 2nd and 11th, right? From Guru.
No, from Mercury let us see. Mercury is the
From Mercury.
Lagna. Karaka is the Lagna. Because Parasara said Karaka can be seen as Lagna. So taking Mercury as Lagna, which house is Jupiter in, right? He is in Lagna. So 1851 Cancer till 1851 Leo will be the first house. So he is at the end of the first house. He is in first house, but he is not towards the most effective point of the first house. He is towards the end of it. But he is in the first house. So being in the first house from Mercury, first house is a good house for Mercury for Jupiter to occupy. So he will give basic intelligence. Jupiter is the Karaka for intelligence. So him being in the first house from Mercury will show basic intelligence in the learning is there. That is what.
Second house, right?
That's what I was saying. He is in the first house. If you take the houses as the definition of house is from the longitude of the planet or Lagna, the reference basically, to 30 degrees.
Okay.
The first house starts there, not 15 degrees before or at the beginning of the sign. So it starts there and goes for 30 degrees. And then next 30 degrees is the next house. If you reckon like that, because there is a strong evidence that Parasura basically recommended that. And it makes sense based on the fact that 7th house to 12th house should be invisible half. All those things basically fall in place. So if you take like that, then Jupiter is basically in the first house
Just one
of intelligence. Yes, he is at the end of first house. So the thing is, because he is not towards the effective point of the first house, he will give results relating to the first house to a lesser extent, not fully. He will not give his fullest results, but he will give results of the first house, and those are intelligence in the matter of learning. I am saying in the matter of learning because we are taking Bodharagna. Pardon me? We are taking Karakatna. Bodharagna we are taking, so it is education.
But Guru, wouldn't he give things related to the 6th house and 9th house when considered with education?
Yes.
6th house
Yes.
troubles in
6th
education.
house ninth house is protection,
And
sixth house is his agenda from the point of view of education is
Yeah, sixth and
skills and protection.
He just stated that
And being in the Lagna, basically in terms of Lagna is applying intelligence to that particular thing. And also the overall course of education, because it is the first house. So from that point of view, he will bring some obstacles and also he will bring some protection. He is the lord of both the houses. He is the lord of...
చెప్పిన stanza దీనికి అప్లై చేస్తే
Yeah.
మనం ఇందాక చెప్పుకున్న
Right.
stanza.
So the stanza that we were looking at earlier, he is showing a good point as well as he is showing a bad point. He is showing obstacles as well as he is showing protection. So they will cancel each other. You have to see which is stronger, but both will basically cancel each other. Now let us go to the Chaturvimshamsa, Siddhamsa. And in Siddhamsa, because we rectified the chart so that if we take the time a little backwards, Lagna will go back to the previous time Gemini. So Lagna is basically at the fact beginning of Cancer. That is how we rectified the chart earlier. So we'll take the entire sign as a house here. We will not say, oh, Lagna is in Cancer at so and so degree, 10 degrees. So 10 degrees to 10 degrees is first house. We will not do that here. We don't have to look at the divisional longitudes, etc. in this case. So we will just take the whole Cancer as first house and so on. Now, from Lagna, how is Jupiter? Now that Jupiter Dasha is running, let us see how Jupiter is. Jupiter is again 6th Lord and 9th Lord, but is he well placed? He is in Manakarka Sthana.
With respect
He is Manakarka Sthana, but he is aspecting his 9th house. He
And
is,
fourth, both.
he is aspecting the 6th house with 3/4 aspect. But the aspect on the 9th house is full. So the thing is, and he is in Manakarka Sthana. Basically he is weak. Planet in Manakarka Sthana is weak. He is quite weak. So again there are mixed indications, but the thing is the fact that he is aspecting 9th house stronger. His aspect on the 9th house is stronger than the aspect on the 6th house. That does indicate that he may actually be protecting the education. And also 9th house is the house of bachelor education. So during this dasha there will be bachelor education basically. That's what you can say. So as far as 9th house is concerned, he is protecting it. So it's average. It's not a superb dasha, but it's an average dasha. But overall, the positive seems to be trumping the negative. And let us see, just as we did Mercury there, right? Mercury we took as Lagna in the Rashi. We can do that in divisional chart also. It is even more relevant here. So let me look at the longitudes here. Because when we say Mercury is in Libra, some people may say, oh, he is in Libra. He doesn't have a longitude in it. The bottom line is, if a planet is in a sign, he must be somewhere in the sign. He is not everywhere in the sign. So the thing is, the divisional longitudes, even though some people may question the logic behind them, the very fact that a planet is occupying a sign in a divisional chart means there must be a longitude. So what we are doing is, the divisional longitude is calculated based on how much the planet has progressed. Because planet is not staying in a sign forever. It's slowly progressing through the sign and going to the next sign. So depending on the progress in that particular sign in the divisional chart, you can come up with a longitude, and that is what Jehora does. So if you find the D24 longitude of Mercury, he is again at the beginning of Libra. He has just entered the sign. So the thing is, all the planets are actually above that longitude. So you can take the whole sign as a house again. You understand what I am saying? Because he is at the beginning of Libra. So Jupiter is in the 12th house. He is not in first house or something. He is not in the 11th house or something. He is in the first house. Sorry, he is in the 12th house. Is that a good placement or bad placement?
the Lord in God goes, sir.
It's a very good placement. So
Considering
even though from Lagna it is a neutral kind of placement, positives and negatives almost cancelling each other, and some positive basically being left. Here from the Buddha Lagna, the education Lagna, Jupiter is giving Viparit Raj Yoga. 3rd and 6th Lord in the 12th house. So there is Viparit Raj Yoga. But note one thing, Viparit Raj Yoga doesn't mean smooth. There will be struggle. Yeah, he is aspecting his own 6th house, right. So the thing is, even without it, basically Viparit Raj Yoga doesn't mean education will go smoothly. Viparit Raj Yoga shows struggle and then at the end, excellent results. So based on this simple analysis, we did simple analysis based on Lagna and Karak Lagna. So based on these things, our reading is Jupiter Dasha is okay for education, but overall reading, combining Rasi, D24, Lagna, both Lagna, our overall reading is there will be some struggle, because struggle is shown from all Lagnas in all charts. There will be some struggle. It will not be smooth, but at the end he will do well. At the end things will turn out nicely. There will be results better than expected. Basically, things will be bad and people will be prepared for bad results, and then suddenly for some reason things will work out and there will be very good results. There will be pretty good results.
With respect to Lagna,
Yeah.
with respect to Buddha Lagna,
Yeah.
Guru 6th house Lord.
Yes.
So 6th house is చాలా స్ట్రాంగ్ గా ఇండికేట్ చేస్తుంది.
Yes. There are very strong indications of 6th house. There will be big obstacles. 6th house is very dominant.
థర్డ్ హౌస్ కూడా వదలలేదు, ఎందుకంటే లగ్నాతో థర్డ్ లో
He's in the third house. Yes.
అండ్ సెకండ్
Yes.
మీరు మెకానికల్ అన్నట్టు 9th హౌస్ కి కుజుడు ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ కానీ కేతు ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ కానీ బుధుడు ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ కానీ ఏమైనా ఉంటే ఆ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అని ఇంకోటిని అన్న ఇప్పుడు
Yeah.
జూపిటర్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఎక్కువ కనిపిస్తున్నాయి కదా.
Right. When will he go to bachelors?
2010
2010.
fall.
2010 fall.
Senior అంటే 2010.
Mm-hmm. So that will be the Venus Antarbhasa. Jupiter Venus.
No, last time we said mechanical
Yeah.
because initially my suggestion to him was to take psychology or something considering from Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
But then we changed it to just seeing his D10.
Mm-hmm.
Changing his D10, his...
We'll see.
And,
We'll see D10 also. We'll see D10. But the thing is it possible at all that he will do mechanical engineering? Is there any chance at all?
Mechanical engineering ante you do need to have a Mars influence.
Yes. Mars influence. You have a Mars influence on the bachelor's education at all. However weak, is there an influence at all? Can you suggest mechanical engineering in this chart? You see education from the 9th house, right? Bachelor education from 9th house. 9th house has what influences? Is it only 9th house or 9th lord also? You can see 9th house and also 9th lord, right? So if you see the 9th lord,
He doesn't have any Mars influence either.
Actually you are at a bad angle. You change the angle.
He's at moon దగ్గర.
Okay.
దానికి there is
Better?
no Mars influence at all.
Not even on Jupiter?
జూపిటర్ మీద 8th ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఉంది. 8th ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఉంది కుజుడికి.
Yes. Mars is aspecting Jupiter. And it's a close aspect. Even if you look at the divisional longitudes, 27 degrees and 23 degrees. So it's a close aspect. So Mars has an aspect on Jupiter.
But,
And Mars is Yokarka. Yes.
Mars is Yogarka.
First of all, Mars is Yokarka. Second of all, he is 10th Lord. 10th Lord aspecting 9th Lord will show basically some influence of the career orientedness on the bachelor's education.
లగ్నాతో అష్టం ఉన్నాడు.
Yes, he is in the 8th house. That's
So
fine.
things may
But he is
consider-
Yokarka. It may be unexpected, it may be sudden. He may give that kind of thing. But his influence is there on Jupiter. If you look at Jupiter, what are the influences on Jupiter? See, on Pisces there are very few influences. Nobody really has aspect on it. Venus has half aspect on it. Jupiter has aspect on it. That's it. Saturn has aspect on it. There are some influences.
రాహు కేతువులు ఉన్నారుగా.
Yeah, Rahu Ketu have 3/4 aspect on it. So those are the influences. But if you take the because 9th house is not that strong, whereas 9th lord is very his dasha is running and he is interesting basically. So if you give importance to 9th lord, Mars influence on him is actually quite desirable. Mars is a Yokarka in this chart, and he is the 10th lord in the chart basically. 10th lord in the Siddhamsa chart, showing professional education with profession in mind. So his aspect on Jupiter, that too they are friends. So the thing is, if Saturn aspects Jupiter, Saturn has half aspect on Jupiter, but his aspect Jupiter may or may not honor. Why Jupiter honors? Because he is the Dasha Lord, he decides. So being the Dasha Lord, when he gets an aspect from his friend Mars, and he says, I want professional education relating to my area, Jupiter has a chance of listening to him, listening to Mars. So from that point of view, there is a chance of mechanical engineering. But if he is interested in Jupiterian kind of education,
It will be
that will be even better.
Fine.
But we have to see Dashamsa, finances, law, this kind of things basically. They will work, they will be better for him. And let us see the Dashamsa.
One question in this
Yes.
before you move.
Yes.
His college will start say fall of 2010,
Yeah.
but the selection will all be done by February, March. So
Okay,
is
that's
it the
fine.
selection that will matter, or is it the entry of the college time that should go?
అకార్డింగ్ అంటే అష్టమం చెప్తారు కాబట్టి
No,
it doesn't
I
really
think you
matter.
should say in English because with this
Yeah,
Yeah, it's getting
recorded. It's Telugu
People
becomes
know how well
the question.
Seshwan Satish can speak in Telugu, but people who don't know Telugu don't know what's going on.
No, the question is basically since he enters the college in fall of 2010,
Right.
then the selection process will all be done by February, March.
Right.
So when we are seeing this now,
Uh-huh.
especially Jupiter Venus Dasa,
Yeah.
that's from 2010
Right.
4 onwards, that's fine.
Right.
But when the
I was actually looking at the Dasha just to see how the time is, not to see what education he will go to. For all you know, he may go with one plan and 2 years later he may change it also. So the thing is, I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at Dashas to judge that. I'm just looking at the factors in the Chaturvimshamsa and Dashamsa, and I will say what are better possibilities. I will leave it to you to decide. I will not basically say he will do this because I don't have enough knowledge to say this is what he will do. But master areas will work fine. Mechanical engineering will be fine. But if he goes into law or financial engineering, that may are just finances, matters of economy, those may work nicely basically. Jupiterian matters may work nicely. Now, let us go to the Dashamsa. What kind of career would you see based on this Dashamsa? What is the career you would see based on this Dashamsa? Lagna is Gemini, right? Lagna is Gemini. So, 6th Lord Mars is in the 6th house. Right? 6th Lord Mars is in the 6th house.
10th Lord is exalted in the 3rd house.
10th Lord is?
Ekada?
Not 10th Lord. 5th Lord Venus is exalted in the 10th house.
5th Lord.
5th Lord Venus is exalted in the 10th house. So it shows some kind of recognition in career. It is a good placement basically. Now the 10th Lord Jupiter is debilitated in the 8th house and he is with the 3rd Lord Sun. Right?
With respect to Moon, Kuja is in 10th house, sir.
Yes.
Does that nullify the debilitation?
Debilitation what? With respect to Moon?
Moon, Neechabhanga is...
Oh yeah, there is Nijabhanga. In the Dashamsa there is Nijabhanga. Jupiter is having debilitation but he is having Nijabhanga. Now let us see, like I said, we are talking about somebody who is yet to start his career. So instead of actually getting biased based on our limited astrological knowledge and saying this is what he should do, let us say if he does this, what are the possibilities? If he does this, what are the possibilities? Let us say he goes with Jupiterian career. Okay? Let's say he becomes a lawyer or something. What are the possibilities? What are the possibilities?
Jupiter is in 8th house.
Jupiter is in 8th house, so there will be a lot of ups and downs. Is it really 8th house? It is. Lagna is at 17 degrees in Dashamsa and Jupiter is at 22 degrees. So he is actually in the 8th house. So, Jupiter in the 8th house, 10th Lord in the 8th house will show a rocky career. It will not be smooth. And he is with the 3rd Lord. So what does that indicate? Jupiter is...
Travel.
There will be a lot of travel on work.
Breaks.
Secondly, there will be a lot of contract work. Third Lord shows contracts. So there will be a lot of contract work. So basically, he may be, for example, like a lawyer who takes up projects instead of working full time as an employee of a law firm. He may be basically like a contracting lawyer, a lawyer who offers his law services, and whenever he gets a project, whenever he gets a client, he works. And also Sun is there, Sun Jupiter combination. So it may be some political kind of cases are possible.
Or management Sun won't give management.
It may be government related cases, political related cases, and also cases against some administration in big corporations, basically big bosses, cases against them. That kind of work is possible. Solar, things shown by sun, that kind of work, a rocky kind of career with lot of contract work, lot of temporary work. So that is the kind of work Jupiter can give. Right? But at the same time, if you are taking the 10th house to be the shower of work, then Venus is in the 10th house. Exalted Venus. So
And
even,
fifth lord.
pardon me?
And fifth lord.
Right. So by the way, he also gives Nijabhanga, not just Mars. Basically, if a planet who gets exalted, no. The planet who gets exalted here, Mars. Yeah, it's Mars who gives, right? So Venus being exalted in the 10th house shows some reaching some high position and some recognition.
Mars is sixth lord in sixth house.
Right. So if it is a Jupiterian career, it will be fine, but it will be a little rocky, and it will be on and off kind of work. If it is Mars who shows the career, how is Mars? He is in the 6th house. 6th lord in the 6th house, that too in A10. 6th lord in 6th house in A10. And what else? What are the other influences on him? He is in the 10th house from Moon. If you look at Moon as Lagna, because most of us, we do our work basically in the mind. Most of us, our work is basically mental work. If you say intellectual work, then Lagna is actually the center of intellect rather than Moon. But mind and emotions, if you are talking about those, Moon is the reference. Both are important for work, for most of the work we do. In Rasi chart, he is the 10th lord, he is Karyasya, absolutely. Aquarius is rising, right? Aquarius is the rising sign. So, let's change this to Rasi. So, from the Rasi chart, Mars is the 10th lord, he is the Karyasya. And also, if you take Mercury as the Karaka for work, Mercury is the Karaka for work. Apart from Moon being the Manaskaraka as a Lagna, Mercury if you take as Lagna, Mars is again in the 10th house. 10th lord in the 10th house from Mercury. So all these influences are there. So Mars is actually quite strong. He is actually dominating quite well. So even though 10th house is also not bad, I would say this Mars, so Mars is in Ishanamsa, so some religious work is possible. Okay. So Mars, and moreover he is Amatya Karaka.
Is he really in the 10th house from Buddha, sir?
Yeah, we can see in the Rasi you mean.
17%.
Yeah, he may or may not be, we'll see. But he is at least the 10th lord. That it will be there. So if you see Mercury is at 18 degree 51, Mars is at 23 degrees. So he is actually in the 10th house. He is actually very close to the effective point of the 10th house. So
He's
Mars,
past that, right?
yeah, past, but past. That is why had he been before, he would have been in the previous house. So from Mercury, Mars is the 10th lord and in the 10th house. From Lagna, he is the 10th lord. So there are various, and also from Moon if you take in the Rasi, 10th house, he is aspecting the 10th house. Mars is aspecting the 10th house.
Guru is also blessing Mars, sir.
Right.
So
Ninth aspect.
in the old Dasa, Guru Dasa,
In the Guru Dasha, basically Guru will cooperate with Mars
with
results.
Mars.
Right.
Also
Right. So given all these factors, if you look at all, and if you look in the Dasyamsa, like I said, from Lagna he is in the 6th house, 6th lord very strong. From Moon if you see, he is the 10th lord like we said. From Mercury if you see, he is not the 10th lord or he doesn't have anything to do with the 10th house, but he has an aspect on the 10th house. So he has an influence on he has an aspect on 6th house also.
Guru is also exalted.
Yes, Mercury is exalted, right. So the thing is, Mercury being exalted, Mercury Lagna is an important Lagna. Mercury is very strong. So from that Lagna, Mars is aspecting 6th house and he is aspecting 8th house. So that way also, so he has connection with so many factors. And from Rasi, he is in A10, like I said earlier. So given all these factors, Mars, my judgment is, even though Jupiter is also a good planet,
Martian jobs are better.
Martian jobs are more suitable. So engineering seems to be suitable. So in the Chaturbhimshamsa, even though Martian influence is not that strong, The fact that he is aspecting, he is a Yogarka, and the fact that he is aspecting is basically good enough. Moreover, if you take Lagna Lord, he is actually, even though he is in the 8th house, he is in a trine from Lagna Lord. We have to remember that Lagna, he is basically studying abroad, and Lagna Lord is in the 12th house. So if you take Lagna Lord as reference, basically, he is in the 9th house. So it's not that bad. So overall, my gut feeling is Martian influence on Jupiter will decide his bachelor education and career rather than. And if you take the 2nd house, for example, if he does masters, 2nd Lord Mars, Sun is with Mars. 2nd Lord Sun is with Mars, and Mars is aspecting 2nd house. So there is he can give a master's education also. So I think there is a good chance that bachelor education is indicated by Mars, and definitely master's education is definitely indicated by Mars, and then he will have a Martian kind of career. So my suggestion based on Siddhamsa as well as Dashamsa is, actually it is a good idea to stick to mechanical engineering or any engineering basically, Martian field.
What does the Shukra in the 10th house indicate? Is this the culmination of his entire karma towards?
Basically, Shukra being the 5th Lord, he wants to give him recognition. Shukra wants to give him recognition. And his being exalted in the 10th house with a Mahapusha Yoga in Dashamsa, it basically shows he will be recognized for his work at the end, when Venus periods come in his life.
So why did you think that mechanical engineering is not good, even though we predicted before?
Because
What indicated?
Having,
from his background, he has a passion for mechanical.
yeah.
He is very good with hands-on and everything.
Okay.
But with his academic background because he had a very
That's-
bad 10th grade.
Very bad?
10th grade, which pulled down his average.
Okay.
1 year he was down, that pulled down his average. So with the low GPA, getting into
Engineering is difficult. I see.
That's why I was suspecting.
Okay. Well, if you can't get into a good school, get into a medium kind of school. Get into some school.
Some school.
But my feeling is, he will have a rocky ride for a while, but eventually he will get the result of Viparit Raj Yoga and he will do fine basically. And more importantly, the Dashamsa is very strong. If you actually look at the Chaturvinshamsa, like we said earlier, Lagna Lord in the 12th house, Venus is not very strong. So all these things are there. The 4th Lord is combust, all these things are there. But if you look at the career, see, education is one thing, career is one thing. If you look at career, the 10th Lord Mars, from the 10th house if you see, as Lagna, he is in the 6th house. For a malefic, 6th house is a very good placement. So 10th house is very strong. In other words, 10th Lord is in Mula Trikona and aspecting 10th house.
Can you repeat again?
10th Lord Mars is in Mula Trikona and aspecting the 10th house by 8 aspects. Moreover, you can always see how well a planet is placed from the house. So if you take the 10th house and see where Mars is from the 10th house, he is in the 6th house. Right? A malefic in the 6th house is good.
6th house, own house.
So basically Mars is not only the 10th Lord, he is very well placed from the 10th house, he will safeguard the 10th house very well. He is not like Venus, the 4th Lord, who is combust, who is close to Sun. He is not like him, he is actually quite strong. So, and not only this, not only Rashi, if you look at the Dashamsa, even in the Dashamsa, and of course in Navamsa also shows the fortune. So in the chart of fortune, Mars is the 10th Lord in the 10th house, in one sign. Right?
Yep.
And in Dashamsa again, Mars is the 6th Lord in 6th house. He is a malefic in the 6th house, very strong. So, he is very likely, even though the 10th Lord Jupiter is weak, the 6th Lord is very strong and 10th house is strong, having an exalted planet. And Jupiter is not that weak either. He has Nijabhanga Raj Yoga. So, he has Nijabhanga. So, overall, my feeling is, this is a chart where education is not that great. It's above average. Not even average, probably above average. But career is good. So he will have some trouble with education. So don't lose heart. Wherever he gets in, let him get into some Martian field. It could be medicine also. Sun and Mars combination can show medicine also in Siddhamsa. But in the Dashamsa, Mars is alone in Scorpio. That doesn't really show medicine. So my feeling is engineering is more indicated. But it has to be something shown by Mars. That will be auspicious for his career. So think of career, don't think of education, grades, all these things. Some people don't get great grades, they don't really graduate from MIT or Harvard, but they do well in career. They go to the top. So I think there is a strong Mars, especially in the Rashi chart. Mars in the third house in Aries, with that kind of strength, it is likely that, and in Bone Navamsa, it is very likely he is probably in one of the higher Vaisheshikamsas, because Rashi Navamsa Dasyamsa he is so strong, right? So let us go to the Vaisheshikamsas. Yeah, Vimshopakabala is very strong, 82% strength. I'm sure Shadbala also will be very strong. He is 127% strong. And if you see the Vaisheshikamsas, he is in Paravatamsa.
What is that Paravatamsa?
Basically, out of the 10 charts of the Dasvarga,
okay, yeah,
he is in one sign or exaltation sign or Multikona and 6 charts. So he is basically quite strong. So that strong Mars in the third house shows a go-getter. It's basically, third house is extremely strong. It's kicking. So he is somebody who will go and get what he wants. So the thing is, it's not a bad idea if he is a late bloomer, if he doesn't basically realize his potential at this age. If he
No,
slowly...
he's actually blooming now. He's working
Very
hard.
good, very good.
It's working out, but only one bad year has pushed down his average.
Don't worry too much about it. Encourage him in education, and if necessary, compromise on. He doesn't need to get into MIT. He can get into some. There are always colleges of various levels. So try to find a college which is happy with his GPA. But my feeling is, overall education, because Jupiter Dasha is running now, and Jupiter is not really a great planet for the...
It will be there until it's
Right. So my feeling is,
That's not going to change.
he will... Right. So education, he will continue to
Yeah,
do
bumps.
above average, one year well, 1 year some setbacks, like that. It will be on and off. But once the Saturn Dasha comes, his career will basically take off. Saturn Dasha is from 2018, from the age of 26. So Saturn is, he is basically in the Dashamsa, he is the 9th lord in the 11th house. Of course, he is 8th lord also, but he is in the 11th house. And he is in a Martian sign. So the Saturn Dasha should be good for career. And if we also quickly check the Satabdika Dasha, because that is applicable in this case, let us see it from Lagna only, instead of looking it from moon. So if you see Satabdika Dasha, see, that is what I was suspecting, that is why I checked. I was suspecting that because the Dashamsa is so strong, his career has to be strong. I was suspecting that from a good age, basically Mars Dasha will come. So 2017 to 2037, it is Mars Satabdika Dasha, based on Lagna. If you find Satabdika Dasha, because Satabdika Dasha is applicable if Lagna is in Vargotma, it makes sense to take it from Lagna rather than moon. So if you take Satabdika Dasha from Lagna, Mars Dasha is from 2017. That is around the time Jupiter Dasha ends. Huh?
When he starts to get into
He will probably, this being the 6th lord in 6th house, he will have a great career during that time, and probably it will be a Martian career.
His current Satabdika Dasha is also Jupiter sign.
Yes, so he is under Jupiter influence strongly, based on Vimshotri as well as Satabdika Dasha right now. So that means education will be up and down. Education may not be great, so don't be disappointed. But from 2017-18 time frame, his career will start and he will very quickly climb the ladder of success in career. That is my feeling, because Mars is exceedingly strong. With such a strong Mars in an Upasaya, somebody has to do well in career, in life.
What would you suggest him in case if you are to suggest him to propitiate Jupiter?
See, if you are Jupiter, because his Dasha is running, you can propitiate, but the thing
But he
is...
is weak, so suggest propitiating him may give him less trouble.
No. Because he has control over his life now. Jupiter has control over his mind at this point of time. And if you pray to him, he will release the control a little bit. Don't wear Jupiter's gem, but Jupiter propitiating is fine. But the thing is, irrespective of how much you propitiate, the results are limited basically. So keep that in mind. And secondly, more than the Dasha that is running right now, the fundamental weakness is the Karyasya of Venus is weak. So you can actually strengthen Venus. So for example, wearing a diamond. You can wear a diamond, you can also pray to Lakshmi, pray to Venus. So those can be helpful. But the thing is, what I will actually say, my gut feeling is, forget the next few years, because even with some propitiation, you will only change the magnitude a little bit. Bottom line is, I am fully convinced, irrespective of what happens in the next 10 years, or 9 years, or 7 years, 7, 8 years, 8, 9 years. Irrespective of what happens, how he studies, what he ends up learning, the glorious period of his life will come in 2017 from till 2037. He will do very well during that time. And so the thing is, what I will do is actually, irrespective of propitiation, that will give good results. But what I will do is prepare for that, basically, the peak of the life. You can be during such a time, you can be a well-recognized engineer, or you can be the CEO of a company. Anything is possible. So the thing is, what I will do is actually prepare for the sixer. Instead of actually, you know that irrespective of how many runs you score now, nothing is going to happen. But you know that the last over, because this is a 2020 match, the last over, it will be crucial, that over, and also you will probably do well in that over. So I will basically conserve my energy and go for success in the last over. So prepare for success after 2017. Sorry for those who don't know cricket for all these weird analogies from cricket. So my suggestion would be, Mars is the planet for him. Mars is the planet. Also the thing is, it shows strong energy in him. Such a strong Mars in the third house, he will have a lot of fire in him. So the thing is, if you praise to Mars, that fire will be channeled. I'm not suggesting wearing a red coral or something, but propitiate Mars, so that the energy is channeled before Mars Dasha comes, so that when the Mars Dasha comes, the energy is fully channeled and it works correctly and gives and optimizes the results during that Dasha. So what I suggest is, who can you suggest for such Mars? Who can you suggest for Mars? See, Mars is in Bharani Nakshatra. He is in Yamas Nakshatra. Right? He is in own sign. He is in own sign everywhere. Scorpio, Aries Rashi, Scorpio Navamsha, Scorpio Dashamsha. And he is in Yamas Nakshatra. So who can you suggest? Hanuman and Subramanya are the two possibilities. But given that he is in Yamadharmaraja's Nakshatra, I will rather go with Hanuman. My gut feeling is, just stick to Hanuman. So I will suggest worshipping Hanuman. Just get him into the habit of chanting Hanuman Chalisa or some Hanuman mantra and make him a devotee of Hanuman. See, I was just thinking, is it correct or should it be Kumara? Should it be Skanda? My gut feeling is it is Hanuman, but please show me some nimitta. I was thinking in my mind while I was speaking out. Actually, there is a Rama picture. As soon as I thought, my eyes fell on that Rama picture. I actually, even though we conducted classes here so many times, I never noticed that Rama picture there. I always saw that, is he Mr. Hingorani, Vaswani? Okay, Vaswani. These pictures I have noticed many times, but I never noticed Rama picture.
No, that picture comes not always here.
Oh, it's not always
when
here.
I have the event celebrations,
I
they bring him from downstairs. Upstairs.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it before. Right. So for the first time, I was thinking of Hanuman, and I asked God for a nimitta to confirm Hanuman rather than Kumaraswamy, Skanda, and the picture came in front of my eyes. Suddenly my eyes fell on it. So I'm pretty sure the nimitta is also there, Rama is there. So I'm pretty sure Hanuman is the right God for your son. Get him into the habit of chanting Hanuman. Devote to Hanuman, basically. Devote himself to Hanuman Chalisa, Bhimarupi Hanuman Stotra, or anything related to Hanuman. Or any mantra of Hanuman. Bhimarupi Hanuman Stotra.
What is this one?
I can email it to you.
Okay.
This is actually a Marathi, just like Tulsidas composed Hanuman Chalisa in the Hindi language. Samartha Das composed a prayer to Hanuman in Marathi language. In Marathi language, it is also very powerful, just like Hanuman Chalisa. It is basically a very powerful form of Hanuman, very energetic, fiery form of Hanuman. And people say that if you basically chant that stotra 54 times every day, like that for 108 days, the belief is that you are guaranteed to see Hanuman. That is the belief in some circles. And if you sincerely do it, it is possible also. And I know some people for whom it actually happened. So it is and the thing is, just like Tulsidas, Samartha Das is a great saint. He established 108 Hanuman Pithas across South India and also some in North India. 108 Hanuman Pithas he established. And he is considered to be somebody born with Hanuman Samsya, Samartha Das. His Shishya Kalyan is supposed to be Bharata Samsya, and he is supposed to be Hanuman himself Samsya. And he was Shivaji's guru. He is one of the greatest saints of the last 1000 years. So It is composed by him, so it is also very powerful, just like Hanuman Chalisa.
A particular reason why it is named as Bhima of
Bhimarupi, because he imagined a form of Hanuman who is very fierce,
Strength.
very strong and fierce, basically. Not a Satvik Hanuman who's praying to Ram, Ram, Ram like that. Because also at that time he was basically dealing with all the foreign invaders, Muslim invaders who Shivaji was fighting against. So some of his energy, whatever energy he got, was channeled towards directing Shivaji against the in the fight against the foreign invaders. So for that reason he was worshipping a Bhimarupi Hanuman. Whereas if you see Hanuman Chalisa, it is not a specific form like Bhimarupi or Shantarupi or Bhakta Hanuman. It celebrates various aspects of Hanuman. Whereas this is, when he composed this Bhimarupi Hanuman prayer, he was imagining Hanuman as a destroyer of enemies. And given that he is in the 6th house in the Samsa and in the 3rd house in Rashi, etc., he is basically in Upchaya. So my image of this young boy is somebody who's a go-getter, who destroys all the enemies, who does things basically. So that is why after I said Hanuman Chalisa, I was impelled to also suggest Bhimarupi. Whether they do it or not, whatever is their destiny, they will do. But I was impelled to basically suggest Bhimarupi also. And if you want, I can send you the text. It is actually typed as a part of the Hanuman Homam, as one of the options for Hanuman Homam. So the manual is there, so I can send you that.
Is it on the web?
It's not yet on the web. I'm lazy to put it. Ravi already made everything. I just have to put it.
Can you please see
So I think you don't have to really worry about him, and I don't think we have to keep seeing his chart again and again. And I'm not blaming you, but don't panic if he gets a bad GPA next
Maybe
year.
we should see his chart about where the moon is. Because you're worried about
No,
Yes.
it doesn't work. Actually,
Yeah, I
I'm not
understand.
affected by it.
I understand.
I'm detached from this.
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother here. I only ask, but it doesn't bother here.
Good. That's good. Very good. So all the best to him. So next year is the year. Good. Very good. All the best. So with that we will end the class today. Om Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu sarve dharmika jana sukhino bhavantu yavat bhumandale sanatana dharmo vardhatu visheshatah bharatakhande. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.